The true biography of Felix Manalo is a gun, written and created by your humble servant, Jerry Cahelon. Just call me Tatang JC. Thank you very much. Before I proceed, my very dear brothers and sisters, friends, countrymen, and acquaintances, may you please don't forget to like, share my videos, and subscribe also to my YouTube channel so you can easily follow through on my next significant manifestations or testimonies. Thank you very much. Again, my very dear brothers and sisters, friends, countrymen, and acquaintances, before I proceed in detail to this portion of Sir Felix Y. Manalo's biography, I'd like to give you a brief summary of what had happened during his temporary absence for almost 2 years. The present-day America became his temporary paradise in flesh, vices, and wickedness, and likewise having the enjoyment of extravagant lifestyle by his ordained disciples or directors administering the church and false church he left in the country in collusion with social corruption. All these luxurious goodies were gained from wealthy foreign Protestants, American government, and in conjunction with traitors and politically corrupted Filipinos, likewise colluded with the corrupted and decayed political system in the country. They serve as nourishments and chocolate sweets to glorify the stingy works and mock beliefs about God inside the cult and false Iglesia ni Cristo. It is so disdainful in the mind and spirit, as well as in the heart and soul of those who sees all these stinky and horrific hair-raising works or ways in faith, as well as in society. And even to this day, their wrongdoings are manifesting and inherent to those who came in after them. Nevertheless, today comes from here on the internet of the cyber world, the true awaited revelation to everyone, the word of truth, that which shall free everyone from the bondage of wrongful and deceitful stories about the so-called bird of prey, or the angel, or last messenger of God from the Philippines. Simply and therefore, here comes the continuation of my true revelations about all of Sir Felix Y. Manalo. Part 11 of the Biography of Felix Manalo is a gun. Just few days before Sir Felix Y. Manalo embarked for America, he met with all his charge makers or emissaries, ministers, and the 3 elders or personalities or ordained disciples or board of directors in his cult and false church, Iglesia ni Cristo, to explain his journey's motives. And what he said, of course, is quite different from the true secret deal made with Mr. Leslie Wolf and other foreign Protestants, and which I had previously mentioned. It's different from the truth because this is now what he is saying. He will study in America to elevate his degree of understanding about God and supplement his knowledge relative to matter of divinity. According to him, he needed this schooling in order to tap or pray the religious knowledge of his adversaries, hoping eventually he may easily convince or overwhelm them in all religious aspects. He also reminded his trusted disciples or directors of reinforcing the brethren's faith in order to ease up everyone's mood that may lead to more and more monetary alms or contributions into his church. He tasked of forming and writing more ministerial texts or outline sermon with greater emphasis on monetary alms or contributions was given by Sir Felix Y. Manalo to his then the right hand, Mr. Justino Casanova. This work is purposely aligned to the success of amassing greater financial wealth or monies in his church treasury. He enforced total prudence in expenditures as well as making ways of increasing monetary contributions or alms being collected from the worshippers inside his cult and false church, thereby holding double worship services during Thursdays, morning and evening, and likewise during the Sundays. In addition to the ways of increasing the amount of monies in his church treasury, Sir Felix and his three personalities or his board of directors prohibited the brethren or banned the viewing of any movies showing in all theaters unless approved by the church administration. This will surely divert the members' monies being spent for leisure instead to his church treasury and to the glorification of God, who is present only per se in his cult church. Along with this, he implemented the depositing of monies by every member in his treasury or the domestication of an animal in his herds for future sale. The sale shall go towards the same cause to ensure that the yearly alms or monetary contributions were promptly met and readily available during the annual church Thanksgiving in December. The wearing or possession of any form of jewelry such as gold, diamond, and personal valuables for decorations or makeups on faces were also banned among all members except for a wedding ring and or a wristwatch in one hand only. He ordered his disciples the strict indoctrination and guidance of all minor children in his congregation during the children's worship services. Subsequently, the giving of alms or monetary contributions or donations was added during the children's worship services. Sir Felix also ordered the total forging of innocent mind and subjugating the very soft emotions of every child using his own crooked teachings and twisted doctrines, thus hoping to transform and lead them to becoming pure fanatics for his cult and false church. Finally, he banned any sort of celebrations for all brethren's birthday, as well as the solemn gatherings or traditional memorials for the death of their loved ones in this world, to save money which can be added to the monetary contributions or alms. And with all these manners of policy changes and implementations by Sir Felix Y. Manalo, his association may save more monies from what he thought and so-called senseless and selfish acts of expenditures of his followers. Instead, the monies may just be donated or deposited for the Lord's sake, who according to him can only be found per se inside his own cult church. Ultimately, his temporary absence shall gain more sensible meaning and will not cause any shortness of monies in his false church. One thing for sure, he must receive regular monthly monetary blessings from heaven, from his treasury, to finance the needs in America while pursuing his studies at Pacific School of Religion per se. This serious financial demand of Sir Felix was given as a form of regular task and obligation to his disciple, the Iron Fist or executioner, Tatang Teodoro Santiago. He also asked and tasked his favorite disciple, Tatang Federico Inocencio, to regularly visit for him his family, meaning to provide all the needs while he's away. This includes, of course, the required caring of what he is keeping for secret. That is, his out-of-wedlock daughter from Madame Teresa Teodoro and his two children from Madame Basilia Santos. Due to the busy schedule of Sir Felix Y. Manalo, along with his preparations for his departure to America, the remaining few days in the Philippines were spent mostly in visiting the brethren in his cult church. Thereby, he never get the chance to spend more time with his two children, Pilar and Avelina from Madame Honorata. Although at this time, Madame Ata is 3 months pregnant with her third child, Dominador Manalo, she still had a good understanding of Sir Felix's tedious situation. The pregnant condition of Madame Honorata, of course, demands a good physical, mental, and emotional health care, thus kept herself at home most of the time. However, unknown to Madame Ata was Sir Felix Y. Manalo's availability to visit Miss Rosita at the central office besides attending his executive ministerial meeting, wherein his adopted child, Miss Rosita Trillanes, typing his texto, is being housed. She is now a teenage girl, over 17 years old, and now very well groomed of herself. She's very pretty and so much being sensually attractive and physically desired by many men unlike before. Again, the praying Felix is overwhelmed by his own mundane desires because the same thing happened which should have not supposedly happened before between him and Miss Rosita Texto Typist Trillanes. And why? This is happening because of the dominating fear of him inside young Rosita. Before she was left alone that day before Sir Felix's departure for America, he warned her of not going back to friendly Protasio family in Paco, Manila. The family was just recently excommunicated by Sir Felix Y. Manalo himself. He accused the Protasio family members of maliciously lying about him and Miss Rosita, including their involvement with series of burglary inside the central office. These were accusations or suspicions made up or baseless, and yet the whole family was expelled from the cult church anyway. The truth of the matter is wherein Protasio's entire family was expelled from the false church because Sir Felix Y. Manalo was afraid his secret sexual lust on Rosita was discovered or revealed to the said family. If so indeed, and if ever Protasio decided to expose the truth publicly, then Sir Felix or Praying Felix may cunningly have a very heavy reason in excommunicating them already. And why? Well, of course, on the basis of them taking revenge on him for being expelled, and they were now resorting to libel or destroying his good religious reputation or image. Again, Sir Felix warned Miss Rosita Trillanes of physically hurting her if she tell anyone about the ongoing sexual happenings between the two of them. The temporary absence of Sir Felix Manalo in the country somewhat gave silence to many foreign Protestants and Americans from all sorts of tirades and detractions. This resulting event is in line with the agreement of both Sir Felix or Praying Felix and Mr. Leslie Wolfe, which means therefore the good effect of the so-called ceasefire from both sides. The cult society or false church of Sir Felix, which is now being administered by the ordained disciples, the three personalities or board of directors, have diligently spread his crooked teachings and twisted doctrines in many provinces of Luzon. These were the places of Rizal, Bulacan, Pampanga, Tarlac, and in Nueva Ecija. They were able to establish no less than 3 major church localities or locales and have built a house of worship or chapel in every province. All these gains were due to the collusion for stopping the nationwide tirades and defamations from many Filipinos to foreign Protestant sects and the American government. In conjunction with all this comes the false church administration's endorsement of politicians and political parties from various sectors of the government who were allied with the Americans in the country. The corresponding benefits from the Protestants and Americans in the country to the cult church administration were in the form of many estate properties awarded for building concrete chapels, including the huge amount of monies hidden or disguised as charity missions and religious gifts or donations per se. In this form of acquisition, the material wealth being accumulated by the cult and false church of Sir Felix Manalo from all these religious works or endorsements thus far become tax-free properties in accordance with the laws in the country pertaining to charity organizations. All the ministers and church makers or emissaries of Sir Felix Manalo, who now instead mostly targeted their mortal enemy in faith, the Roman Catholic Church, because this is the primary source in increasing their numbers or where they acquired the most of their new members or converts. On the other side of the society, due to the wicked collusion between the 3 ordained ministers or directors and the Protestant along with the wealthy Americans, corruption begets more corruptions. Well, this is just like the secret collusion between Sir Felix and Mr. Leslie that pioneered all other succeeding corruptions in his cult church. The ministers and church makers assigned to administer the church localities in remote and far-flung or mountainous areas became very unhappy about all this wickedness in the administration. Significantly, they are in places where most nationalistic Filipinos are nesting with underground movements who were pushing for Philippine national independence. These disgruntled church makers and ministers received serious support from some pioneering ministers or founding members in the church like Teofilo Ora, and Januario Ponce, who also have their own selfish motives, which I will manifest in my future presentations. Sometime in 1921, Sir Felix Y. Manalo came back from America, and with him is a simple certificate of completion, a proof of him acquiring some knowledge about divinity from his adversaries in faith. Surprisingly, he was greeted with hair-raising accusations from Mr. Teofilo Ora and Mr. Januario Ponce of immorality and grave misappropriation of church monies. From here and then is the beginning of the first serious schism or secession or disintegration inside Sir Felix Y. Manalo's cult society called Iglesia ni Cristo, and more future divisions or schisms happened. To my very dear brothers and sisters, friends, countrymen, and acquaintances, may you please stay tuned for the upcoming Part 12 of the biography of Sir Felix Manalo Isagun in my next presentation on the Internet of the Cyber World. Again, to my very dear brothers and sisters, friends, countrymen, and acquaintances, may you please don't forget to like, share my videos, and subscribe also to my YouTube channel so you can easily follow through on my next significant manifestations or testimonies. Thank you very much.